Hey everybody, Live Farmer 73 here, and today we have the new EcoFlow Wave 2. This is the second edition of the Wave, and what makes this one so special, well just come on, I'll show you. Before we get going, let's see exactly what's in the box. You have one intake and one exhaust tube. It comes with 3 cowls to connect the exhaust tubes, drainage hose, pre-cut window stencil for your exhaust tubes, DC adapter cable that goes from the battery to the unit, AC power cable, but this one has a breaker switch built right on it, and the instructions. What's so cool about the EcoFlow Wave 2 is it doesn't just cool, but it also has a heater built inside, kind of like a mini split system. That's right, it heats and it cools. So when it's cooling, it'll use up to 1500 watts max, and it puts out 5100 BTUs. Now on the heating part, it uses up to 1800 watts, and it puts out 6100 BTUs of heat. That's a lot. I know a lot of people don't think that's a lot. In a small space like an RV, a camper, or even a tent, that's a lot of heat and that's a lot of cooling for the space. Now let's get a little closer and check out the specs on the Wave 2. Let's talk about input. Let's spin her around. As we can see here, we have a protection door for all of our inputs. We have our DC input here, we have our AC input, and we have our solar and cigarette lighter input. The EcoFlow Wave 2 can take up to 820 watts through the AC import. It can take up to 400 watts using its solar import. Now, using the same port, it can take up to 200 watts through a cigarette lighter port. When using the external battery, the DC port can take up to 700 watts max. Now we're going to turn it around the back and let's check out that drainage port. Here's our drainage port for excess condensation. But first, let's go ahead and use our adapter and get it plugged into the battery. The battery comes separately, and thanks to EcoFlow, they sent me one out, and we're going to go ahead and get that plugged in right now. So there is a direction that this goes in. You can see the pointed end over to our left, just like that. Now let's power it on by holding down the power button on the battery. Before we go any further, let's talk about this battery right here. Around the side here, this is how you take the battery off once you slid the unit on, by pushing this lever down here and release it from the unit. Turn around here. And now we have our power indicator lights. We have our power button. Under this flap here is a USB-C port at 100 watts max. We have a USB-A port at 18 watts. The battery is a 1,159 watt-hour lithium battery, 800 cycles down to 80%. Now we should be getting some kind of readout when we hit the power on the Wave 2. There we go. We got it set on heat right now. And when the light shows orange, that is our heating unit. The heat air will come out of the louver vents here. This is our exhaust on the top here. Around the back is an intake. And in the front is an intake as well. Now that we have it powered up, here we have our function button. That toggles between air condition, fan, heat, and AC. We'll leave it on heat. Then we have our mode button, which toggles between maximum setting, sleep mode, and eco mode. We'll leave that on the regular mode. Then we have our 2 up and down buttons that raises the temperatures up or down. This is 86 degrees. We're going to bring it down to 84 degrees just by touching the button. Bring it back up. 86 is the max. Here you have our fan button that controls the speed of the fan. Right now it's on its lowest setting. The bars here show that. Let's raise it up. Raise it one more time. And for maximum output, you will go back to the mode button and just make that maximum. That will drop if you bring that down to the first setting. Now it's warming up pretty fast. It's warming up really, really fast. So that is awesome. Now remember, it's running off of the battery, which we're going to talk about next. So that is awesome. Now, before we go any further, I gotta let you know this. Just like the rest of EcoFlow products, it does attach to the app. So as you see, all of my EcoFlow products are here. So let's click on that and see what's going on. It gives us a full detailed readout of everything we need to know on the app. Everything that we could do on board, you can do from the app. Now, while the heat is going, one thing I'm noticing is the front intake. I can feel the front intake sucking in air, and I can feel the rear intake sucking in air. I feel the top exhaust blowing out cold air. That's because it's fairly cool in here, and it's sucking that cold air in from both sides, heating it up and shooting that warmth air out here. But I have nowhere to shoot the cold air. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the cowls on here and hook the exhaust tube out the window so we can get a better reading on what's going on. Here we got one of our cowls, the exhaust cowl. Here we have our exhaust cowl for the top, and we have our exhaust tube. They just click right in there. You can see the little snaps. They just click in there with a twist, and it's on. Now we're going to attach it to the EcoFlow. Now that just fits right down in there like this. Your prongs are going to go through the vents evenly. And then the top just clicks in with the button. My window unit is not set up properly right now, but we're just running an example. So with the tube, all you got to do is bend it just like a dryer hose, and you can extend that to the length that you want, just like that. So I've been running this for about an hour or two, and I can see one of my indicator lights is blacked out. So I'm going to look at the screen and see how much time left I have on the battery. So it's saying I have 2.5 hours left on the battery. So what I plan to do is use the AC cord adapter, and I'm going to plug this into the AC adapter, and I'm going to plug it into the Delta 2 Max just to get that much more power out of it. Now remember, the battery on the Wave 2 is 1159 watts, where the Delta 2 is 4,000 watts with the extra battery. So if this will run for about 4 hours with this battery on it, we have 4,000 more. So that's going to extend our run time that much longer. So when I hook the battery in, I am getting a reading. I'm getting a charge of 736 watts going out. And I can also see my battery on the Wave 2 charging. So I have my AC power coming into the Wave, and through the Wave, it's charging the battery through the connection cable. That is awesome. So that means not only do I have 1159 watts, I also have 2,000 watts plus another 2,000 watts. That's over 4,000 watts with the Delta Max 2 and the extended battery plus the Wave 2 battery. That's over 5,000 watt hours of power. So that will last a long, long time. Now, if I was to hook it to the solar panel, and the solar panel is bringing in 400 watts, this thing would run forever. So you guys, it's a win for me. The Wave 2 has so many tricks up its sleeve, so many different functions, I don't even know where to begin. This video will probably be 2 hours if I just kept on telling you all the things that this can do. For instance, you don't necessarily have to have the battery with this. You can have the Wave 2 and just connect it to a Delta series solar power generator, or you can get the battery and extend that run time of 1159 watts to an extra 2000 watts. You add on the extra battery to the Delta 2, now you got 4000 watts. 4000 plus the 1159, you got over 5000 watt hours of power to run your Wave 2 and to run all of your equipment on your Delta Max. So that says a lot, family. I had it programmed to shut down right now. Did you hear it shut down? Anyway, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, if you're ready to save some money, you can go in the description box below. Use my code while it's still hot and everything is on sale. You can use my code on Amazon.com. You can use my code on EcoFlow.com on top of the savings they already have. Okay, if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section below, and I'm going to answer it as soon as I possibly can, because I know a lot of people got a lot of questions before they want to spend their hard-earned money. Lead Farmer 73, I love you guys, and I'm out. I'm going to keep on testing this. I'm just going to have to do another video. I'm going to have to do several videos because this thing does everything. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Be safe, and I'm out.